back to another segment of the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl President's Message. As we move into the month of December, we're going to really start focusing in on teams who may or may not play in our bowl game. The reality is this year we are ACC versus SEC, and we're really excited about our two conferences. Obviously, they have some great teams. Clearly, Clemson is a fabulous football team, and we're excited about Clemson. Notre Dame, as you can see here, is a part of the ACC for selection purposes, and in fact, this year they're a member of the ACC. So we think Notre Dame and Clemson are probably the two candidates for the college football playoff, and the other one would more than likely go to the, if they're not both in, the other one would end up going to the Orange Bowl. So we're excited about that. When you look at the rest of the makeup, you've got Miami sitting here at 7-1. You got North Carolina at 6-3. You've got NC State, who we've had recently, but all of that's been waived, so we can have NC State again. Boston College is on the list. So we've got some good teams to pick from Virginia Tech, North Carolina, Miami, NC State, and Boston College. We're going to have some good football teams out of the ACC to play in our bowl game. So we're excited about this side of the equation. When you come over here to the SEC, we truly believe that Florida and Alabama will both play. One of them will more than likely play in the championship game. One of them will more than likely win and go to the national championship playoff. The other one may possibly get in if Florida somehow beats Alabama, because we think that if Florida wins, Alabama will also go to the Final Four. So then that leaves Georgia and Missouri and Texas A&M and Auburn, teams like that that have not had an opportunity, obviously, to play in the Final Four, will either be in the New Year's Day Six or they'll play in one of our bowl games. An interesting something to point out, Arkansas hasn't been to a bowl game in a number of years. If Arkansas can win some games, they might be a great pick because their fans are very fanatical, and we think for the first time in a bunch of years that they could come to the game. LSU is certainly still not out of the realm of possibility. They've got a couple of games left to play. An Ole Miss team that's got an explosive offense would be someone we'd look at. And then, of course, you've got Kentucky, who we've had before. Kentucky could get to that level, of that threshold of being in the mix with all of these guys. The interesting thing about the Final Four, Tuesday nights you watch and see how they rank the Final Four. None of that is really what's going to happen if there's upsets. So keep in mind that right now you've got Alabama, you've got Ohio State, you've got Clemson, and then a lot of people are talking about another team that might fit in that whole area. I think there's going to be some major surprises come the morning of the 20th, which is Sunday, which is Selection Sunday. So keep an eye out for that. There's some nuances that we'll talk about as we go forward. That's where we are. That's what we're looking forward to. This week we're having our virtual meeting with our committee, and Commissioner John Swofford from the ACC will be speaking virtually to that group. And so we're excited about seeing the insight that John brings to the table about how he put the ACC together this year. Certainly some questions about Notre Dame and other things. So if you're a member of the Gator Bowl board and committee, I'll talk to you Thursday night. If not, the rest of you, I'll see you next week.
Hi everyone, my name is Peyton Titus. I was part of the Dream Team in 2018, I think. A lot has happened since then. My hair is longer. I got into the University of Florida, where I am a sophomore right now. I work at the student newspaper, the student-run newspaper at the school called the Independent Florida Alligator. I am currently serving as online sports editor and one of the football beat writers. And then in the spring, I will be digital managing editor. So I'll be taking a step back from sports and editing more news articles for the paper. So I guess I have to pick some games. One of the games on this list got canceled this morning when I was in class. So I guess I will just offer my pick to like the new scheduled game instead for that, but that's at the bottom of my list, so let's just get started. Texas A&M versus Auburn. I feel like some of these are kind of more obvious than others, but I'm going Texas A&M. UF Tennessee. I'm picking UF, not because I'm a homer, just because, like, come on. Alabama LSU. Alabama. Arkansas Missouri. A little bit of a toss-up, but I think that Felipe Franks has the potential to go out and have himself a day, or have himself a rough day, but I'm going to lean more towards the positive side and pick Arkansas there. South Carolina and Kentucky. I'm going to have to go with Kentucky. I have faith in their defense to kind of stifle South Carolina and potentially win more of a low-scoring shootout there, I guess, if that makes any sense. Clemson, Virginia Tech. Clemson. Boston College, Virginia. I'm going with BC. Georgia Tech, NC State. I am going with the Wolfpack. And not just because they were in the Gator Bowl the year that I was on the Dream Team. Indiana, Wisconsin. I'm leaning towards Wisconsin. And then this is a game I was talking about earlier. Liberty versus Coastal Carolina got canceled. So Coastal Carolina is going to take on BYU instead. And I'm going to have to go with BYU for sure, even though they're marketing themselves as like the next UCF, which I can't say that I'm a huge fan of. But those are my picks for this week of college football. Hopefully everything stays and there aren't any more like last minute cancellations, because you hate to see that happen. But yeah, so I'm just excited to hopefully watch some football this weekend. Yeah. Bye.